This is a critique for Robert, Daniel, and Mercedes. I'm just going to make yours a little bit smaller for now, Mercedes. So before I get started on this critique, I'd like to talk about how I conduct critiques in this class. You'll find that I group you together in groups of 2 to 5. We're kind of on the lower side of the middle here with 3. And I do this to promote a community atmosphere in the classroom and to help you better understand one another's works in comparison or in the context of other, or I should say to better understand your own work in the context of others' work. So I like to rely on everyone's works as examples for one another. So maybe you, Mercedes, have done something successfully that Daniel needs to work on, and same thing with Robert. Maybe you've done something successfully that Mercedes needs to work on. I can use your work as examples for one another. You'll also find that I write these notes on top of your work, and I do this so that I remember what I want to talk about in the critique, but they're also here as a written record of the key takeaway points for your critique. I encourage you to pause the video and jot these notes down and refer to them when you go to make a revision. Now, speaking of revisions, you're encouraged and welcome to complete revisions for any given assignment until the end of that given week. So for instance, we are in week 1 now. You have until Sunday night to complete revisions for this week. Then you want to, of course, make sure to post your revisions in the final submission area of the Dropbox, of the classroom. So here's milestone 1, final submission. After you've made your revisions, you want to make sure to post it here in order to receive credit for that assignment. So I grade these assignments at the end of the week. So you won't receive a grade on this assignment until the end of the week. You receive grade for the written portions of the assignment, whether that be formal critiques for other students' work, like in task 2, or self-analysis as in task 1. But then you receive written feedback on your class participation in the actual task item in the grade book, but then you receive grades for the assignment in this final submission area, which you'll receive at the end of the week. Before the end of the week, you can always look in the comments section of the final submission Dropbox area in the grade book, because there I like to post sort of unofficial grades. So in the comments area, I'll post where your grade kind of currently is, so that you can, if I were to grade now, so that you can use that feedback to complete revisions. I hope that makes sense. That was a little convoluted in my explanation, but basically, if you want to see kind of where your grade unofficially stands, you can look in the comments area of the final submission Dropbox item, and that during the week, throughout the week, and that grade won't be made official until the week has ended. So let me move on to your critiques. Let me start with you, Mercedes. Your design is really very strong. Nice work using 7 shapes, and I think you are using 7 here. Let's see, just going to get change the color here. Nice work using 7 shapes to make 4 incredibly different designs. You're thinking a lot about how you can use the shapes the color of the negative space to create new shapes that aren't actually in this library you have over here on the left. You are activating the edges of the page by having design elements run beyond the edges of the page, and you're relying on overlapping of shapes to create a very dynamic composition, right? While this white shape, you're activating the negative space by using shapes such as this, that we read as being part of the negative space, but they also kind of read as a shape onto themselves, so it's a little unclear what's in front of what, what's negative, what's positive. We're going to get into that more in next week. The only thing I want you to do is make sure to clip to Artboard. You'll notice that included with your artwork are the instructions, and in order to avoid doing that, to have what Daniel has here, where you'll notice that he only the design is showing. I believe you were working in Illustrator, Mercedes. You want to open up your artwork in Illustrator. Then when you save as a JPEG using the Save for Web dialog box, Save for Web, you want to make sure to check this box here, Clip to Artboard, and that will remove the instructions. So that's something I'd like you to work on in revision, is clip your, try to resave and clip to artboard and see if that solves the problem. Then moving on to you, Daniel. I think these designs also are very strong. I love, you know, your attention to diagonal shapes and having one shape with a bit more detail than the others, which serves as a focal point, a point of focus. The big thing for you is just in meeting some of the assignment requirements. So one of the assignment requirements is that you're not supposed to resize the shapes. And so I see this circle here, it is much larger than the other shapes. And then also it looks like this line here and this line here are skinnier than the black line that you were given. So I'd like you to edit, it looks like these 3 designs where you've resized the shapes, resize them back to their original size so that that better meets the assignment requirements. Then also you want to use the same 7 shapes in each design. So if we look at Mercedes and we look at Roberts, you'll see that they are using the same 7 shapes in each design. So once they've decided to use this, you know, black circle, that black circle is throughout. You know, all the same 7 shapes are in this one, that are in this one, that are in this one, that are in this one. So Daniel, you want to edit your designs so that you're using the same 7 shapes throughout. And then also it looks like in certain areas, like right here, I suspect this little square is actually this line extending into the other area. If that happens, I believe you're working in Illustrator. What you can do, let's see here, I'm just gonna, if that's happening, what you can do is you can just kind of drag that to shorten it to prevent that from happening. So let me know if you have any questions. These are all the areas I'd like you to work on in revision. You can either make the revision and post directly to the final submission area, or if you want additional feedback on your revision, you can post to the discussion thread here in the task, and I'd be happy to take a look at it. Finally, onto you, Robert. Let me start with this middle point first. You want to make sure to save as a JPEG. You actually uploaded your file as an AI file. And so then when I open it in Photoshop, we have this issue where the backgrounds are checkerboard and then the white shapes aren't actually blending into the background. So you want to save the AI file, which you have here, onto your computer. Here, I'll illustrate with this AI file I have open here. So you do want to do what you did, which is, you know, save as the AI file, but you're going to save that for yourself. Then when it's time to upload, and then you want to save a JPEG by going to the File menu, selecting Save for Web, and these steps are actually illustrated in the tutorial video for this assignment. So if you haven't watched the AI tutorial video already, please do. And then you want to make sure to choose JPEG from the drop-down menu here and hit Save. And then, of course, rename the file, you know, with your own last name, first name, and hit Save. And then, let's see, I think I had a couple other, let's see here, points of feedback for you. When renaming your file, actually, I'm going to leave this as is. This is totally fine. As long as it has your first and last name in it, that's fine. Then one thing I think you could do is consider whether your shapes are overlapping with the edges of the page. I think you like what's happening over here in this white triangle here. I think you might find that if your shapes extend beyond the edges of the page more, then you're activating the negative space in the edges of the page more. So I'll leave it there, and please let me know if you have any questions.